welcome to Pure Yoga Ashtanga inspired Vinyasa Flow. So today I'm going to be taking you through some of the poses that we do in an Ashtanga sequence, but with a slight difference. So although I say Ashtanga inspired, don't hold me to the Ashtanga bracket, but it's a practice that I used to do very regular, which I don't tend to do that much anymore because I quite like the variety of classes. But Ashtanga, if you want to go deeper into a practice, it's really good to keep those continual poses going, therefore you can get deeper into the poses. So I will be starting with sun salutations, so I'll be taking you through a couple of easy options first, and then if you want to stick with them you can. If you want to upgrade them when I take you through the more upgraded version, then feel free to join me. So if you want to come to the front of your mat, have your feet hip width apart, take a roll of the shoulders up towards the ears, release them back down towards the hips, take a close of the eyes, take a couple of long deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. If you wish to use that mouth throughout your practice, feel free to do so, but if you want to take the full yogic breathing in and out through the nose with that slight restriction at the back of the throat. So just finding that place in standing, that anatomical place, making sure all 4 points of the foot are touching the mat, so left and right side, front and back. Feel the ball of the foot, the heel of the foot, each toe pushing into the mat. Try not to let the feet drop inward or outward. Feel that whole grounding into the floor. Turn the palms slightly forward. Take a little slight softness in the knees. Tuck under the bum, draw the belly back. Feel like the rib and hips are tethering. Maybe lift up through the chest slightly, relax through the shoulders, grow up through the crown. Take those breaths nice and deep and continue that deep breath breathing as we go through the practice. Take a scan of the body from the top of the head down to the fingertips, down to the toe tips. Just have a little check-in with how you've arrived on the mat. Just noticing any tight spots, noticing any injuries, being mindful as you practice. Just take a couple of moments here just to check in with yourself, your physical body, your energetic body, which is your breath, and that mental state, how that mind feels. See whether you can use that breath as an anchor to come away from any thoughts that you have that appear as you practice. Just using that breath as that anchor, just to let those thoughts pass. Open the eyes, take a breath in, bring the hands up towards the ceiling, bring the palms together at the top. As you breathe out, bend the knees, pivot from the hips as you release the hands down towards the mat. Let the crown point down. Next breath in, come up to a half lift, straighten the legs, place the hands on the shins. As you breathe out, place the hands back to the floor, step the right foot back, step the left foot back, and then release down, either dropping the knees or straight bodies, bringing the elbows into the sides of the body. Push into the hands, lift up the chest, baby cobra or up dog. Release the chest down, tuck under the toes, bring the chest back towards the thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet, lift up the hips, squeeze the heels back, finding our first downward facing dog of the day, just holding it here for a few breaths. Encouraging the heels towards the mat if you need to take a slight bend in the knees. If the hamstrings still feel a little tight, maybe you need to paddle those feet just to let those hamstrings know we're going to be taking them through stretch and strengthen. Take those shoulders away from the ears, send the shoulder blades to the back pockets, relax through the neck. If you're paddling the feet, bring the feet to stillness. Take a gaze in between the hands, step your right foot to the front, stick your left foot to meet the right, and allow that body to fold over the legs. Your next breath in, bring the hands up towards the ceiling, bring the palms together at the top, bring the hands down to the chest, Samastitihi. Breath in, bring those hands up to the ceiling, palms come together at the top. Breath out, fold over those legs, hands come to the floor, bend the knees if you need to. Breath in, come up to our half lift, hands on shins or on fingertips. Bring the hands back down on your out breath. This time step the left foot back, step the right foot back, plank position. Release to the floor, either dropping the knees or straight bodies. Untuck the toes when you get to the floor, push into the hands, little baby cobra or a high up dog. Release the chest back down, tuck under the toes. Bring the chest back towards those thighs, push into the hands, push into the feet, lift up the hips and squeeze those heels back. So taking a few breaths here in down dog, maybe you're stilling those feet so those legs aren't paddling. Maybe you're still feeling like those legs need to paddle if those hamstrings are still quite tight. Thinking of the fingertips being wide apart, pushing into the index finger, thumb, little finger, heels squeezing back, heels behind the toes. Take a gaze in between the hands, step your left foot forward, step your right foot forward, allow the body to fold over the legs, let the head hang. Next breath in, bring the hands out, up to the ceiling, bring the hands to the chest, Samastiti He. So the next round of sun salutations, we're going to step it up a bit. If you wish to step back, step back. If you're coming with me on a jump back, feel free to join me. Take a breath in, bring the hands up towards the ceiling. Take a breath out, fold over those legs. Your breath in comes up to a half lift, either hands on shins or stay on fingertips. Take a breath out, plant the hands, step back or jump back to plank or chaturanga. Roll through, up and lift the chest, keeping the thighs away if you're with me. And then making your way back to down dog, either chest to thighs or rolling straight over those toes, lifting those hips, squeezing those heels back to hold it in downward facing dog for a couple of breaths. Squeeze those heels back, push into those palms, into those fingers. Try not to let those shoulders scrunch the ears, keep them away, spacing those collarbones. Take a gaze in between the hands, either step or jump to the front of the mat. Allow the body to fold over the legs, and then on your next breath in, bring those hands all the way back up towards the ceiling, palms come together. Breath out, bring the hands to the chest, Samastiti He. Breath in, bring those hands up towards the ceiling. Breath out, fold over those legs. Breath in, come up to a half lift. Breath out, plant the hands, step or jump back, plank or chaturanga. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Thighs stay away or thighs on the floor. Either then chest back to the thighs or roll straight over those toes, lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back, holding again in down dog for a couple of breaths. Feet are hip width apart, hands are shoulder width apart. Slight micro bend in the elbows so we don't lock out in those joints. Keep pushing those hips high, chest back, rib and hips tether, belly draws back. From here, either step, jump or float to the front of the mat. On your out breath, fold over those legs. Your in breath, bring those hands up towards the ceiling. On your out breath, Samastiti He, hands to the chest. So we're going to take option sun salutation B now. So very similar, but just some add-ons in the middle. Take a breath in, bend the knees, bring the arms back, lift the arms towards the ceiling. Take a breath out, fold over those legs. Breath in comes up to a half lift, hands on shins or fingertips. Breath out, plant the hands, step or jump to the back of the mat to chaturanga or plank. Roll through on the up breath, lift up the chest into our up dog, and then make your way back, either chest to thighs or rolling straight over those toes, lifting the hips. Step your right foot to the front of the mat, drop your left heel down, raise the arms on the inhale to find warrior one. On your out breath, release the hands down either side of the right foot, step back to plank. Slowly release to the floor, either straight body or drop in the knees. Push into the hands, lift up the chest. Make your way back to down dog, either rolling over those toes or chest to thighs, lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back. Step your left foot forward this time, drop your back heel, raise the hands up to the ceiling into warrior one. Then release down on your out breath, hands either side of the left foot, step the left foot back to plank. Flow that vinyasa, either hover or all the way to the floor. And then make your way back to down dog, either chest to thighs or rolling straight over those toes, lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back, holding it in down dog just for a couple of breaths. Maybe have a little nod and shake of the head, relax through the shoulders. Relax through those elbows, try not to hyperextend. Your next breath in, bend the knees, gaze in between the hands, step, jump or float to the front of the mat. Forward fold, allow the body to fold over those legs. On your breath in, bend the knees, raise the arms to a chair position. On your out breath, straighten the legs, hands come to chest, Samastiti He. We'll take that sun salutation B one more time. Breath in, raise the arms, bend the knees, chair. Breath out, fold over the legs, hands come to the floor, straight legs or bent knees. Breath in, come up to our half lift. Breath out, plant the hands, step or jump back to plank or chaturanga. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Make your way back to down dog, either chest to thighs or rolling straight over those toes, lifting those hips. Gaze in between the hands, step your right foot forward, drop your back heel, find warrior one, lifting the arms, sinking in the hips. Breath out, release the hands down, either side of the right foot, step back to plank, release down, either to the floor or hover, roll through, up, lift up the chest. Make your way back to down dog, chest to thighs or rolling straight over those toes, lifting those hips. Step your left foot through, in between the hands, drop the back heel, raise the arms, find warrior one with the left foot forward. On your breath out, release the hands down, step the left foot back, flow that vinyasa, either dropping the knees, straight bodies or hover, lifting the chest, making your way back to down dog. Chest to thighs or rolling straight over those toes, lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back. Hold it in down dog. Find that good alignment. Try and tether those ribs and hips, get that core strength switched on. Your next breath in, either bend the knees, step or jump or float to the front of the mat. Allow the body to fold. On your in-breath, bend the knees, raise the arms to chair. On your out-breath, bring the hands to the chest, straighten the legs, Samastiti He. Release the hands down by the sides of the body. Hopefully those bodies are starting to feel nice and warm now. And just find a moment in anatomical position before we start taking ourselves through the different poses throughout the practice. We'll do one pose at a time on both your left and right sides, and then vinyasa, and do another pose, left and right sides, vinyasa. So you will be at some point turning towards the back of your mat. So we're almost doing a half mandala, but once we've turned to the back, we will then turn back to the front from the same direction. Listen to the cues. Breath in, raise those hands up towards the ceiling. Breath out, fold over those legs, bring the hands to the floor. Breath in, come up to a half lift. Breath out, plant the hands, step or jump back to a plank or chaturanga. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. On your out breath, sending the hips high, rolling over the toes or chest to thighs to our downward facing dog, where we'll take a breath here. Your next breath in, raise the right leg up towards the ceiling. Bring the knee into the chest, come onto the toes of the back foot as you step your right foot through. Drop the back heel internally, windmill the arms up and over, straighten both legs. Reach forward with the right hand, bring it to the inside of that right shin. Left hand reaches up to find triangle pose onto that right leg. Push into the outside of the left foot, into the right foot. Feeling that hamstring stretch down the right leg, trying to tuck the right bum cheek under, turn the left hip out, left shoulder stacks on top of the right. Take a nice long deep breath in, And a long breath out. See, maybe you can find a little more depth, but try not to collapse through the waist on that right side. Your next breath in, bring the shoulders over the hips. Turn your right toes to the long edge, your left toes to the short back edge. Then reach forward with the left hand, bring the left hand to the inside of that left leg, right hand lifts. Maybe gaze up towards that right thumb, taking triangle pose over that left side. Elongate the waist on the left. Maybe find the depth on your out breath. Tuck that left bum cheek under, turn that right hip out. Right shoulder stacks on top of the left. Easy breaths in and long breaths out. Your next out breath, release the hands towards either side of the left foot. So you should be facing the back of the mat. Lift that left leg up towards the ceiling and then bring that left foot down to meet the right. Take a flow vinyasa of your choice, coming forward to a plank on the inhale, releasing down to the floor, either straight bodies, dropping the knees or chaturanga, roll through, uplift up the chest. Make your way back to down dog, either chest to thighs or rolling straight over those toes, lifting the hips and squeezing those heels back. Have a nod, have a shake of the head, take a moment in your A-shaped downward facing dog position. So we're going to be lifting the left leg, so we'll be going back around in the same direction, doing one pose on both your left and your right. And that one pose will be reverse triangle. Your breath in, raise that left leg. Your breath out, bring that knee to the chest, come onto the toes of the back foot as you step your left foot through. Step your right foot slightly forward and drop the heel. Bring your right hand to the outside edge of your left foot, both legs straight, left hand onto the shoulder, turn the shoulders to the left. Then reach up with that left hand to the ceiling. If that right hand doesn't reach the floor, come onto the fingertips or bring that right hand to the outside edge of the left leg. Twist and turn with the body from the waist, pelvis faces the back edge of the mat. Encourage your right hip forward, your left hip back. The gaze up towards those left fingertips, if you can take that twist. Holding it here just for one more breath. Then your next breath in, lift that chest up. Turn around back towards the front of the mat. Right toes face the short edge. Left toes face the corner of the front edge of the mat. Reach up with that left hand. Reach forward. Bring that left hand to the outside edge of the right foot. Right hand comes onto the shoulder. Turn and twist the waist. Turning the shoulders to the right. Then raise the right hand to the ceiling. Remember, if you can't reach the floor, come up onto fingertips. Or bring that hand to the outside edge of that right leg. Turning and twisting, gazing up towards that right thumb. Trying to tuck the left shoulder under and stack the right on top. Left hip coming forward, right hip coming back to neutralise that pelvis. Holding it here just for one more breath. Then release those hands down, bend the front knee, step the right foot back to meet the left. And vinyasa of your choice, releasing to the floor or hover, roll through up, lift up the chest, making your way back to down dog, chest to thighs, or rolling straight over the toes, lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back. Have a little nod and a shake of those heads. Breath in down dog before we transition, lifting your right leg next. Breath in, raise the right leg. Breath out, bring the knee to the chest. Come onto the toes of the back foot. Step your right foot through. Bring your right hand to the inside edge of your right foot. Drop your left heel. Left hand comes onto the shoulder of the left side. And then lift that left hand to the ceiling. Right hand stays grounded. And then turn and bring that right hand then to the outside edge of that right foot. Keeping that right knee bent, the hips low, left leg straight, the gaze up towards that left hand, then reach forward towards the front of the mat with the left hand, having that full stretch from the fingertips of the left down towards the toe tips of the left. One more breath here. Then bring the shoulders over the hips, Turn the toes, right toes face the long edge, left toes face the back edge. Bend into that left knee, left hand comes to the outside of that left foot, right hand reaches up and over to the back of the mat, back leg straight so that right leg is straight and the left knee is bent. Maybe gaze up towards that right palm. Open that chest out to the side, holding it here just for one more breath. Then release the hands down either side of your left foot. Step your left foot back to a plank. Vinyasa through of your choice, either letting yourself come to the floor or hover. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Making your way back to down dog, lifting the hips and squeezing those heels back. So we should be facing the back of the mat now, ready to take the movement with the left leg. Breath in, raise that left leg up towards the ceiling. Breath out, bring that knee into the chest. Gaze in between the hands, step that left foot through. Then drop that back heel internally. Bring your right arm to the outside edge of your left foot and hook that elbow and shoulder over that left knee. Bring your left hand onto your shoulder, twist the body, and then reach forward with that left hand to the back of the mat, pushing into the outside edge of that right foot and the whole of the front foot, taking that reversed lunge twist. Maybe gazing towards that left hand, bending into that left knee, straightening the right leg, twisting through that waist, encouraging the right hip forward, the left hip back, all the time pushing into the outside edge of that right foot. One more breath here. Then bring the hand of the left back to the hip, turn, twist around towards the front of the mat, keep your left heel down on the floor, bring your left hand over the right knee, bend the right knee, hook it over, bring your left hand to the outside edge of your right foot, right hand onto the shoulder, turn and twist towards the right, then reach forward with that right hand, right knee is bent, left leg straight, pushing into the outside edge of the left foot, whole of the right foot, gazing to that right hand, encouraging your left hip forward, your right hip back, energetically push into both feet, use the breath to find the twist from the waist. One more breath here. Then release the hands down either side of that right foot, step the right foot back to a plank, and flow a vinyasa here of your choice. Maybe you hover, maybe you come to the floor, maybe you drop the knees, maybe you lift the chest high, full back bend, then make your way back to down dog, either chest to thighs, or roll straight over those toes, lifting those hips. Have a little nod and a shake of the head, a few moments in this downward facing dog. As you get used to down dog, it becomes a rested position. But for a while, this still feels quite a challenge. Remember, take breaks when you need to. We're going to continue with the flow. If you take a break, just join back in when you're ready. So we're going back with the right leg lifts up to the ceiling. Bring that knee into the chest, come onto the toes of the back foot as you step your right foot through. And then turn around to your left side, long edge of the mat. Bring the hands to the hips, bend the knees, curl up through that spine as you bring the shoulders over the hips and roll the shoulders back. So turn the heels slightly out, toes slightly in with a wide leg stance. Breath in, elongate the spine. Breath out, come to a half fold. Take another long breath in and elongate through the spine. As you breathe out, fold over the legs. Bring the hands to the floor and try and track that forehead or that crown towards the mat. Doesn't have to reach, just an intention to get there. If you need to micro bend the knees to take the pressure off the hamstrings, feel free. If you need to use a block to bring the hands to the floor, place that in the centre. Push energetically into the outside edges of both feet. Use the breath to maybe find that little more range of movement. Next breath in, come up to a half lift. Bring the hands to the hips, breathe out. Breathe in, bring that body all the way up. Shoulders over the hips. Take a breath in. Take a breath out, fold back over from the hips. Elongate on your inhale at half lift. On your exhale, let the body come down. Try and use the abdominal strength to bring that body a little closer towards the floor. Not using the hands this time, keeping the hands on the hips. Squeezing the muscles of the abdominals to draw that forehead or crown a little closer towards the mat. One more breath here. Then your next breath in, come up to a half lift. Take a breath out here. Then your next breath in, bring those shoulders back over those hips. Bring the hands behind and interlace the fingers. Keep those toes pointing in, heels out. Push the hands down towards the floor, squeeze the palms together, squeeze the shoulder blades, create space in the chest. Breathe in. As you breathe out, start to fold to a half fold. Take another breath in here. As you breathe out, let that head come down towards the mat. Lift the hands away from the base of the spine, encouraging them as far over as you can take them to get that expansion through the front side of the chest and the contraction through those rhomboid muscles. Keep pushing into those feet. Maybe the outside of the shins are starting to feel a little bit achy, a little bit tight. Keep persevering. If it doesn't work for you, come out of the pose. One more breath here. And then release those hands back to the base of the spine. Come up to a half lift. Breathe out. Breathe in, bring those shoulders back over those hips. Release the hands, bring the hands back to those hips. Take a breath in. Roll the shoulders back. Take another breath in. As you breathe out, fold over those hips. Take another long breath in, elongate. As you breathe out, bring those hands down to either the big toes, the ankles, the shins, wherever you can reach. Use those arms as strength to try and encourage that body a little closer down. Maybe that head comes onto the floor. Maybe it's nowhere near. Maybe those hamstrings are screaming now. Bend those knees if you need to. One more breath here. Next breath in. Come up to a half lift, hands on the hips, breath out. Breath in, bring those shoulders back over the hips, heel toe the feet back slightly together. Turn towards the back of your mat, bring the hands either side of the left foot, step back to plank. Flow a vinyasa of your choice. Maybe it's a hover, maybe it's all the way to the floor. Maybe you drop the knees, bring up with the chest, maybe a little baby cobra or full up dog. And then bring that chest back down, chest to thighs, or roll straight over those toes. Lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back. Finding our way back to down dog, stretching through those calves and Achilles, encouraging those heels towards the floor. Long breath in, long breath out. Your next breath in, raise up your left leg. Bring your knee in towards the chest. Gaze in between the hands, come onto the toes of the back foot as you step your left foot through. Step your right foot slightly closer and drop the heel. Bring your body up, shoulders over the hips. Hips face the back of the mat. Either bring the hands to grab a hold of opposite elbows behind you, or find that reverse prayer position, palms together, lifting them up the back as high as they can go. Breathe in. As you breathe out, come to a half fold over that left leg. Your next breath in elongates, push the palms together or create space in the chest. Your breath out folds over that left leg, trying to bring that body over that left thigh, maybe the nose towards the shin. Feeling the stretch through both legs are straight. Push nice and strong into the big toes of both feet. Push into the heels and the balls of both feet, encouraging your right hip forward, your left hip back. Hold it just for another couple of breaths. Hamstring stretch down that left leg, feeling that stability as you push into the feet, push into the floor. Your next breath in, bring those shoulders back over the hips. Keep the hands wherever they are. Turn the toes. So now your right toes face the front edge of your mat, your left toes to the left corner. Breathe in, elongate. Breathe out, fold to a half fold. Take another breath deep in here. And then as you breathe out, try and fold over that right leg. Bring that chest onto that thigh or somewhere close. If your palms are together in the back, push into those palms. If you're just holding elbows, try and create some space through the chest. Use that breath. Long breath in creates the space. Long breath out creates the depth. Maybe bringing that nose towards the shin of that right leg. Feel the push into the earth. One more breath here. Then your next breath in, bring those shoulders back over those hips. Release the hands, bend the front knee, bring the hands either side of that right foot. Step your left foot further back. Step your right foot back to meet the left in plank position. Finish off a vinyasa here of your choice. Maybe hover, maybe come to the floor, maybe dropping the knees. Or making your way back to down dog, either chest to thighs or rolling straight over those toes. Lifting those hips. Have a nod and shake of the head. Come down onto the knees. Maybe take child's pose, or if you wish to take on some water, feel free to do so. Whatever works for you, whatever your body requires. Maybe it's to restore the breath. Maybe it's to hydrate the body. Maybe it's just to take a couple of long, easy breaths, stretching through the lower back, stretching through the hips, bringing the hands down by the sides of the feet so we take those pressures out of the shoulders that we're doing so many vinyasas and down dogs. Quite often those shoulders start to feel a little fatigued. Take a couple more breaths in this child's pose position before we continue through some more movements of our standing flows, of our Ashtanga inspired sequence. One more breath here. And then making your way back to down dog, bringing your hands forward, stepping your feet back to plank first. Find your alignment, lift the hips, squeeze the heels back. Take a nice long deep breath in through the nose, long breath out through the mouth. Your next breath in, raise that right leg up towards the ceiling. As you breathe out, bring the knee to the chest. Gaze in between the hands as you step the right foot through. Step the left foot to meet the right. Let the body fold over those legs. Next breath in, raise those hands up towards the ceiling. As you breathe out, bring the hands to the chest. So taking a bend into your right knee, grounding into the left foot, bring your right knee up to hip height, turn the knee out, and then bring that right foot to the groin on that left leg. Take a hold of that right foot with the left hand. Bring your right hand behind the back to take a hold of that left arm. Breathe in. As you breathe out, just fold to a half fold over that leg. If you find you can stabilise that right foot into that left thigh, maybe you want to release that left hand to the floor. Or maybe just stay straight with the body, bringing that body into a fold over that left leg. One more breath here. Then making sure you're grounded in that left leg, slowly bring that body back up into a standing position. Hold it for a breath. You don't have to have taken that forward fold if you don't wish. Just have that external rotation of that right hip. So release that right foot then to the floor. Take a little paddle through those feet. I'll turn to face you as I do the other side. So take a bend into your left knee, standing onto your right foot. Turn the knee out and bring that left foot into the groin. Holding the toes of the left foot with the right hand. Bring your left hand behind you. Take a hold of the arm on that right side. You can either stay here, nice and tall, or if you wish, come to bending over that left leg. And if you've come to a full bend, maybe you release that left hand to the floor or the right hand to the floor if you've got that stability. Hold it here for a couple of breaths. Keep pushing that left foot into that right thigh. One more breath here. And then bring that hand back to that left foot. Slowly bring yourself back up to standing. Hold it for a breath. Release that left foot to the floor. Take a paddle of both feet. Still facing that front edge of the mat. Breath in, raise those hands up towards the ceiling. Breath out, fold over those legs. Breath in, come to a half lift. Breath out, plant the hands, step or jump back to a plank or chaturanga. Vinyasa through of your choice. Roll through up, lift up the chest. Rolling back over those toes, lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back. Take a nice, long, easy breath in. Long breath out. This time, raise the left leg up to the ceiling. Bring the knee in towards the chest. Come onto the toes of the back foot as you step your left foot through. Bring your right foot to meet the left. And then take a bend into the knees. Bring the arms up towards the sides of the ears, finding chair position. Tucking the tailbone under, drawing the belly back. Maybe sink a little lower into those hips. Raise the arms a little more without flaring those ribs. Holding it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Standing up through both legs, grounding into both feet. Bring the hands to the chest. Close the eyes just for a couple of breaths. So we're going to go into one leg standing balance with either the right knee bent or the right leg straight, grabbing hold of the toe, whichever works for you. Bring your weight into your left foot, take a bend into your right knee. Either take a hold of the ankle and keep that knee lifted, or bring the big toe into the index and middle finger. Left hand on the hip. Either stay here if you wish, or straighten that right leg out, holding on to that big toe on that right leg. Lift up through the chest, ground into the foot of that left side. Push that right heel away. Keep the torso tall. If you need to keep that knee bent, keep that knee bent, maybe holding the toe or the ankle. Then on your out breath, let that knee come out to the side. If you're straight-legged, let the foot come out to the side. Keeping the gaze forward, keep pushing the hips forward, right leg out, feeling that stretch on the inside of that right thigh. One more breath here, and then bring that right leg back into the center, either bent knee or straight. Let go of the foot, holding it in the height of the leg, either bent knee or straight leg, whichever's working for you. And then release that right leg to the floor, take a paddle through the feet. So again, I'll turn to face you to do the left side. Bring your weight into your right foot, bring a bend into your left knee. Either bring a hold of that toes with the index finger and keep that knee bent, or straighten that left leg out, pushing the heel away, growing up through the spine, grounded into that right foot. Holding it here for a few breaths. Pushing that left heel away, if that left leg straight, bringing the left shoulder back. And then take that leg out to the side, either straight or with that knee bent, opening through the groin on the inside of that left thigh. Whatever's working for you right now. Keep that chest open, those buns tucked under. One more breath here. Then bring that leg back to the center, either keeping the leg straight, releasing the hand from the foot, holding it here for a couple of breaths. Remember that knee can be bent if you wish. Then release that left foot down to the floor, take a paddle through those feet. A little movement through those hips. Then bringing those heels grounded, feet hip width apart. Breath in, raise the hands up to the ceiling. Breath out, fold over those legs. Breath in comes to a half lift. Breath out, plant the hands, step, walk or jump back to the back of the mat. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Making your way back to down dog, lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back. We have 2 more poses to do on both left and right. So breath in, we raise that right leg up to the ceiling. Breath out, bring that knee into the chest. Gaze in between the hands as you step your right foot through. Drop your back heel, hips and shoulders face that front edge of the mat. As you raise your arms, bring the palms together. Interlace the last 3 fingers. Index finger pointing up. Reach up through that index finger on both hands. Left hip forward, right hip back. Shoulders relaxed but arms lengthened. Try not to flare too much in the ribs. Right knees bent, left leg straight. Push into the outside edge of the left foot and the whole of the right foot. 1 more breath here. And then keeping the arms where they are, turn yourself all the way around to the back of the mat. Left toes face the back of the mat, right toes face the right corner of the back of the mat. Bend into that left knee. Push into the outside edge of the right foot. So we've got a little external rotation on that right leg. We've got a bend in that left knee. You encourage your right hip forward, your left hip back. Relax the shoulders, lengthen the arms, warrior 1 position. Your gaze can be forward or up to the hands, whatever works for you for your balance. 1 more breath here, relax the shoulders. Release the hands down either side of the left foot. Step your left foot back to a plank. Vinyasa through of your choice. Either bring it to a less energetic drop of the knees. Roll through up, little baby cobra or up dog. Taking yourself back to down dog. Either chest to thighs or rolling straight over the toes, lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back. Take a nice long, easy breath in. Long breath out. We have 1 more standing pose, which will be warrior 2. We all know it well. Breath in, raise up your left leg. Breath out, bring the knee to the chest, toes of the back foot, step your left foot through. Drop your back heel, windmill the right arm up and over. Left knee stays bent, we reach forward with the left hand, back with the right hand, and we sink into the hips, so we're facing the back of the mat in our warrior 2 stance. Crown of the head stacks onto the tailbone, so we've got a nice long line from the top to the bottom. Shoulders and hips are facing that long edge. That left knee is turning out so we can see that big toe on the left foot. Maybe sink the hips a little lower to try and get that left thigh parallel to the floor. Right outside edge of the right foot pushes into the mat. Holding it for 1 more breath with the shoulders relaxed and the arms long. Keeping the hands where they are, shoulders where they are. Straighten your left leg, turn the left toes to the long edge. Right toes to the front edge of the mat. Bend into your right knee. Keep that head stacked on top of the spine, shoulders on top of the hips, low in the thighs, so we get that parallel right thigh to the floor. Push outside edge of the left foot, whole of the right foot. Keep those shoulders down, try not to let them creep up as it gets a little more intense. Reach forward with the right hand, back with the left hand. 1 more breath here. As you then windmill the hands down, either side of the right foot, step the right foot back to plank, and then find your vinyasa for the last time of the standing poses, lifting the hips, back to down dog, either chest to thighs or rolling straight over those toes. Coming down onto the knees, just take a moment, maybe take on some water or child's pose. Then when you've found your breath or rehydrated, make your way into a seated position. Feet to the front of the mat, bums in the centre. Remove flesh from under the sit bones. Bring the toes back towards the shins. Try and feel like you're pushing those kneecaps into the floor. Bring the hands down by the sides of the body, roll the shoulders back, tall through the spine, Engage through the thighs just to lift those heels away from the mat, holding it in staff pose just for a few breaths. Feeling that L-shaped position, nice and strong in the back muscles, tall up through the crown, pushing the heels towards the front of the mat, toes towards the shins. Active and strong. So this is a position that people would get you to sit in if they wanted to torture. It's a place that people can't tend to hold for too long because there's a lot of muscle engagement to hold you here. Then relax those thighs, let the heels come back to the mat. Bring both legs together. Reach up with the arms on the inhale. Then as you breathe out, fold over those legs, bringing the hands towards the outsides of the feet, the shins or the ankles if you can't reach. Breathe in, elongate through the spine, push the chest forward. As you breathe out, draw the belly back and allow that body to fold over those thighs. Keep using the breath to find your range of movement. Breath in, elongates. Breath out, we fold. Maybe just let that head release. Maybe it comes towards those shins. Maybe you're quite high here. As long as you feel the hamstring stretch down the back of the legs, you're doing what your body needs to do. To get you closer, sometimes it means you have to find some abdominal strength to draw that chest a little closer towards those thighs and that chin towards the knees. Maybe that forehead on the shins. Totally wherever your body wants to take you. But all the time, feel relaxed through the shoulders, relaxed through the neck. Holding it here in the forward fold just for a couple of breaths. And then your next breath in, bring those arms back up towards the ceiling and release those hands to the floor. So either swing your legs around or cross the feet under the body, jump back to plank and vinyasa through of your choice. Either release all the way to the floor or hover, roll through, up, lift up that chest, making your way back to down dog, lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back. Either swing the legs around or jump the feet forward into a seat, bringing the feet back forward, bums into the centre of the mat. Bring the hands behind you. Choice here to either bend the knees to bring it up into a reverse tabletop, or you keep the legs straight to bring yourself into a reverse plank. I'm going with the straight legs, but bend the knees if you feel you need to. Roll the shoulder blades together, lift up through the chest, push into the heels or the feet as you raise those hips up to the ceiling. If the legs are straight, point the toes. If the knees are bent, squeeze the bum to lift those hips a little higher. This reverse plank demands a lot of the muscles in the glutes, the hamstrings, the lower back. It makes that body work to lift those hips high as you can. One more breath here in either reverse plank or reverse tabletop, and then slowly let that bum lower to the floor. Release the hands, give those hands a shake. Either swing the legs around or tuck the feet under, bring the hands forward, step or jump back to a plank, and vinyasa your way through. Maybe you drop the knees. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Making your way back to down dog, either chest to thighs, or lifting the hips with straight legs, back to down dog. So jumping those feet back through or swinging the legs around. Bum into the centre of the mat, heels to the front of the mat. Roll the shoulders. Taking a bend, I'm going to mirror image you into your left knee and let that left knee drop out to the side. Right leg straight, track the shoulders towards that right leg. Breathe in, lengthen up through the arms. As you breathe out, fold over that right leg, bringing the hands to wherever they reach. Shins, ankles outside of the foot. Take another long breath in, push that chest forward. Take a breath out, fold over that leg. All the time maintaining that out turn of that left hip. The draw of the belly back as you fold that body over that leg. Remember, this could be where you are in space, maybe a bit lower. Maybe that head is coming all the way down onto that knee. Maybe forehead to the knee or chin to the shin. Hold it for another couple of breaths. Next breath in, walk those hands back up. That straight leg, straighten the left leg out. Take a bend then into your right knee. Let the knee drop out to the side, sole of the foot into that thigh. This time the left leg is straight, left toes back to the shins. Track your shoulders towards that left foot. Reach up with the arms, stretch through the waist. As you breathe out, fold over that left leg. Again, hand to wherever it reaches. Maybe you take another breath in to elongate, and as you breathe out, draw the abdominals back to fold over that straight leg. Wherever you reach, maybe up higher, if you can feel the stretch in the back of that left leg, try and push that left knee down. If you can use that abdominal strength to maybe come a little lower, maybe chin towards the knee or chin towards the shin or forehead towards that leg. Use that breath to find that space. Everybody's bodies are anatomically different. No two people look the same. No two people have the same movement. Holding just for another breath, feeling that stretch through the waist. Next breath in, walk the hands back up towards the bum. Take a cross of the feet or swing the legs around. Bring the hands forward, step or jump back to plank. Flow a vinyasa of your choice, either hover or all the way to the floor, then lifting the chest, making your way back to down dog, lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back. And then take a jump through with the feet or swing the legs around, bringing yourself into a seat, thumbs in the centre, heels to the front of the mat. Take a bend into your left knee. Reach forward then with your left hand and try and bring your left shoulder in line with that left knee. Turn the palm, take it either to grab hold of the ankle or come to the side of that left thigh. Then reach forward with your right hand, turn the palm, bring it behind the back. Either hold the clothing or grab a hold of those fingertips. So just thinking of those fingertips clasping if you can reach, or holding onto the body or fabric if you can't. So feeling that stretch through the waist, that push forward of the chest. Keep pushing into that big toe of that left foot. Remember, I'm mirror imaging you here. Keep both sit bones grounded, elongate on your inhale, fold on your exhale. One more breath in this position. And then release the grip of the fingertips or the clothing. Bring those shoulders back over the hips and straighten that leg of the left back out. Take a bend now into your right knee. Left leg stays straight. Reach forward with your right arm to bring that shoulder in line with that right knee. Turn that right palm. Bring it behind, either to grab the ankle or take a hold of clothing or hold of that left thigh, right thigh. Reach forward then with your left hand, turn the palm, bring it behind the back, grab clothing or grab fingertips. Push into that right toe, big toe on that right foot, ground into the sit bone, elongate the inhale, fold over that straight leg on the exhale. Trying to feel that space through the breath. The inhale creates that space, and the out breath creates the fold. One more breath in this position. Then bring those bodies back up straight. Take a bend into both knees, swing the legs around or tuck the feet under, step back to a plank position, flow down either to a hover or all the way to the floor, roll through, up, lift up the chest, make your way back to down dog, lifting those hips, squeezing those heels back. Have a little nod and a shake of the head in down dog. Then make your way back to seated, bringing one foot forward, then the other. Bringing the sit bones to the mat, feet to the front of the mat, and just take a little roll of those shoulders. So we're now going to come to laying on the mat. So we're going to bring ourselves now into our bridge position. So heels come into the bum. Our hands come down to the floor. Remove any low ponytails if they're in your way. Knees hip width apart, feet hip width apart. Plug those shoulders into the mat. So our first option is going to be bridge, keeping that gaze up towards the ceiling. Push into those feet, start to raise from the lower spine, working your way all the way up. Feeling each vertebra, leave the mat one at a time. Bringing that chest in towards the chin. If you want to roll the shoulder blades together, take a hold of the hands underneath the bum. Then bring those little fingers down to the mat. Squeeze the palms together. Squeeze the bum to lift the hips higher. Holding it for a few breaths in bridge. Nice, long, easy breaths in. Long breaths out. Engaging through that back chain of muscles to lift those hips nice and high. We're going to hold it here just for another 2 breaths. So this could be your second option if you go for that. If you know wheel, you may wish to take wheel on a second option. I will demonstrate it if you're not sure of it. Don't practice it if you don't feel comfortable. Feel free just to come back to this bridge. One more breath. Then release the hands, slowly come down 1 vertebra at a time, all the way with the bum to the floor. Maybe just give those knees a little rock from side to side. So your choice can be to go there again. So stacking up to find that space again. If you're coming with me, we're going to try wheel. So the hands come back and then you turn the fingertips in towards the shoulders. And the heel of the hands are facing the back of the mat. Feet are still hip width apart. We then push into the hands, push into the feet, and come maybe up just onto the top of the head first. Keep pushing into those hands to support the neck. If you then wish to go a little bit higher, push into the hands, lift up through the centre of the body. Knees don't splay apart. Try and straighten as much as you can through those elbows. Gazing down towards the floor with the head or to the back of the room. Holding it here just for a couple of breaths. But remember, you can do that bridge position if you wish. One more breath here. And then with control, slowly release to the top of the head. Then bring the chin into the chest. Slowly curl down that spine 1 vertebra at a time. Bring the arms out to a T shape. Just let the knees go over to the right side, the gaze over to the left. Just to find that neutralisation of the spine from the forward bends and the back bends. Then we have one more pose to do, which would be shoulder stand. So you have choices in shoulder stand, but we must all finish with fish pose if you've put that pressure through the neck. Bring the knees back into the centre, then let the knees go over to the left, the gaze over to the right, and just gaze to those right fingertips. Take that full ringing of the spine, rotation of the waist. Just hold it in this position just for another breath. And then bring those knees back into centre. So we have choices here to just make sure you've got space at the back of the mat for the legs to come. So your first option is to let the feet just point up to the ceiling. If you have neck issues or if you suffer with high blood pressure, this is where you'll stay with the legs elevated. If you want to take it a little further, take a bend into both knees. Push into the hands as you start to roll onto the shoulders. Then bring those hands to support that lower back. Once you've come into this position, don't turn left or right with the head. Keep the gaze up. Then maybe you want to raise up with one leg first, just to see how it feels. And then maybe raise up with the opposite leg. Trying to bring those hips as much as you can to stack as close as you can over those shoulders. Keep the gaze up towards the toes. Keep that support through the elbows. Holding it here in the inversion, knowing you're taking pressure off the heart, letting that circulation become better, clearing the mind. holding it in shoulder stand for another few breaths. In a moment from shoulder stand, we're going to take it to plough pose. If you don't wish to take the feet beyond the head, just come slowly down onto your backs, wait there for me. If you're coming with me to plough pose, let those toes come all the way to the back of the mat. They may reach the floor, they may not. Then once you've got the feet back, maybe bring those hands down so you can support the body a little more with those hands pushing into the floor. Remember, don't move the gaze from upwards, keep the head gazing up, keep those hips lifted. Holding it here for a couple more breaths. Remember, high blood pressure, don't take these poses, just keep the legs lifted. If you're ready to bring those legs that are just lifted down, just release them to floor, maybe take butterfly legs. One more breath in plough pose with me. And then from plough pose, we slowly take our backs back to the floor. Start to bend the knees as those lower backs come to the mat. Bring the feet to the mat, knees stay bent. Then push into the elbows, lift up onto the top of the head, push the chest up to the ceiling. Take the gaze to the back of the room. Anybody who's been either shoulder stand or plough pose must be taking this counter pose of fish, just to make sure that neck gets taken in the opposite direction. Holding for a few breaths. And then release out of fish pose. You may need to walk the body up the mat a little. Let the feet come together in the centre. Let the knees drop out to the side, just to find yourself in butterfly legs, supine position. So Baddha Konasana, supine. Turn the palms up. Just maybe rock those hips a little from side to side by just rocking the knees down to the floor in one direction, then into the other. And then bringing those legs to stillness. Choice can either to be stay here in butterfly pose or straighten the legs out to the length of the mat, bringing the feet out to the width. Let the feet drop out to the sides. Just take a moment, take a long, easy breath in. Long breath out. If you've come to straight legs, push into the heels, tuck the tailbone to the front of the mat, release that bum back to the floor, and take a few moments here, finding that space to consolidate the practice you've just done, being aware of how that body feels compared to the beginning of class to now. Just use that breath, the long breath in, to create a little lightness and lift throughout the body. And that long breath out, just to feel that body being supported by the floor, all of the muscles giving, relaxing, trying not to hold any tension in any parts of the body. Take a mental scan of the body from the top of the head, down to the fingertips, down to the toe tips. How does your body feel now? Closing those eyes, letting the tongue drop away from the roof of the mouth, letting those lips gently part. Bringing some movement now back into the fingers, back into the toes, maybe into the wrists and the ankles. If you wish to take a full body stretch, stretching the hands up and over the head. If you just wish to stay in relaxation for a little longer, maybe pause me now. And maybe arching through the back, reaching through the fingertips, pointing through the toes. Then bringing those hands back up and over, bringing the knees in towards the chest. Squeezing the knees as tight as you can in towards the body. Feel that compression through those hips. Then either choice to roll over onto one side or rock up and down that spine a few times, up to seated once, back down, up to seated twice. Find your seated position, either cross-legged or on the knees. Then bring the hands on top of the thighs, soft gaze either to the floor or keep the eyes closed. Take a nice long deep breath in, bring the hands up and over the head, bring the palms together at the chest. Hold it for a couple of breaths. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Savinyam Karavavahai Tejaspinam Varidamastu Madvidvish Avahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Have peace in your thoughts, your words, your hearts, from my heart to yours. Namaste.